New York, the distinguished ranking member of the Rules Committee, Ms. Slaughter.
The gentlelady from New York is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman for yielding me the time. With today's legislation, the majority is putting the interest of Wall Street once again before the welfare of the American people. Unfortunately, the majority's desire to give a helping hand to Wall Street is nothing new. In addition to today's legislation, the majority has repeatedly provided favors to a shadowy arm of Wall Street known as political intelligence industry. Over the last few weeks, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal have all reported on a suspicious surge in stock prices caused by operatives in the political intelligence industry. On April 1st, the political intelligence consultant sent an email to selected investors announcing a pending change in government policy that would benefit health insurance companies. Shortly after that email was sent, actually 18 minutes before the stock market closed that day, stocks in 3 major health insurance companies skyrocketed by, hold the phone, $660 million. In 18 minutes before the close of trading that day, 3 health industries got investments of $660 million. And that occurred 30 minutes before the government announced its decision. Now, earlier this week, we learned that the political intelligence consultant sent a subsequent email boasting to his lobbyist friend, "Did you see what I did to the stock market in the final 30 minutes of trading? I still want to buy you a drink," end quote. Now, this is exactly the kind of questionable case that I've been fighting for 7 years, and we finally got the Stock Act. But my point this morning is that the SEC has launched an investigation into this matter. There would be no cost-benefit whatever to having the SEC stop looking into this bill and what happened to the stock market that day because of political intelligence, so they can look back over ancient laws. There would be no cost-benefit having the SEC so tied up with that they cannot regulate that which they are supposed to regulate, and had they done a better job. The recent financial disaster that cost us an awful lot and would have been a great benefit to stop was not caught in time. The political intelligence industry walks the halls of Congress every day looking to privately profit from the public trust. But however, unlike lobbyists, there are no regulations to ensure they adhere to any ethical standard of behavior. Months before I produced the Stock Act in 2006, there were suspicious Wall Street trades occurring immediately prior to the Senate Majority Leader announcing an important vote on asbestos liability legislation. It soon became apparent that non-public information regarding the legislation had been used to enrich stockholders, and the political intelligence industry was at the heart of the case. We had a lonely battle, those of us, there were 7 of us, for 3 terms that co-sponsored the bill. But in 2011, a television program called 60 Minutes did an expose on insider trading by Congress, and overnight, just about, well, maybe by the end of the week, let's say, we had 286 co-sponsors in the House, including 99 Republican co-sponsors. As the bill gained popularity, I was promised a markup in the Financial Services Committee, but it was canceled, pulled out from under the chair. In the Senate, Senator Grassley joined our cause, and when Senator Lieberman took it out of the Senate bill, Senator Grassley had an amendment that passed the Senate, putting political intelligence back into the Stock Act. However, it still had to come back to the House. And miraculously, political intelligence was removed once more to benefit Wall Street, was put on suspension calendar, completely unamendable. I could do nothing about it. It is very painful for me, at least I've been paying attention here, to what I've seen happening since. So I promise you that we will come back again with it, but I said I'm pleased that the SEC is investigating this most recent case. 2 days ago, I tried to do an amendment on this particular bill to see if we could bring political intelligence back. And it would have helped the SEC build the insider trading investigations. But the majority in the Rules Committee rejected my amendment, and we go on today, as usual, without it. We also go on today with a bill that's never going to go in the Senate. As I pointed out yesterday on our 38th try to repeal Medicare, health care bill, that cost us $54 million on that particular bill alone in every time that we have tried to repeal it. $54 million has been spent to try to repeal Medicare. May I have 30 seconds more?
You, the gentleman, an additional minute.
Gentlelady is recognized for one additional minute.
CBS had said it cost about $25 million to run the House. I really would like to find out how much House time we've taken up and how many millions of dollars we've spent since this term started with bills like this, one House bills that we know the Senate will never take up, will never become law, and if by some fluke they should, the President tells us that he will veto them over and over and over again. I could be mistaken with one or two things, but to my recollection, the best of my recollection, the only thing we've done here this term that actually got some action in both houses was when we changed the FAA policy under sequestration. And I joined my friend Mr. McGovern to say what we should have done is do away with sequestration. Maybe the freshmen who wanted to vote again to repeal the health care bill might have gotten some joy out of lifting sequestration and letting cancer patients again get their treatments and children go to Head Start. I'd like to try to do it that way. Talk about cost benefit, that's a benefit. If we really want to work out how much it costs and what we get from it, nothing could prove that better than to lift sequestration. Yield back.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.